Hello and welcome to the Miraculous Lightworkers channel, your go-to place for all things about Lightworkers and enlightenment. Today I'm going to be reading Lesson 8 from the Workbook Lessons out of A Course in Miracles. And the opening idea is, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Number 1, this idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time, from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot in fact understand anything. Number 2, the one wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not here. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this, because it is not really thinking about anything. Number 3, the purpose of the exercise for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas is the first step in opening the way to vision. Spiritual vision. Not just what we think we see in front of us, which they're pointing out says we don't really see anything. We think we see things, but because we are completely subscribed to our prescription of what we're looking at based on what we learned in many, many years gone by, we're not really looking with any authenticity at anything. We're just projecting from memory. So, number 4, the exercises for today should be done with eyes closed. This is because you actually cannot see anything, and it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you're not seeing anything. With as little investment as possible, search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there. Name each one by the central figure or theme it contains, and pass on to the next. Introduce the practice period by saying, I seem to be thinking about blank. Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, I seem to be thinking about the name of a person, about the name of an object, about the name of an emotion, and so on, concluding at the end of the mind-searching period with, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This can be done 4 or 5 times during the day, unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying 3 or 4 times is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself. This is really an interesting one because it's the first one where they're telling you to literally close your eyes and in a very meditative way, try to search your mind for all of the things that want to arise, and so many things will arise. Your internal chatter just seems to be endless. It's really hard to quiet it down. This is why meditation is such a challenge for most people, is because your mind just wants to go. It just wants to run, and it's not really producing anything usually but anxiety and occupying all your energy by sort of holding you still, essentially. If you want to read more about this concept from Lesson 8, I encourage you to go into Chapter 16 on page 347, and it talks about the end of illusions. I won't cover it here, but I will suffice it to say, if you want to understand how to let go of the past thoughts, how to really relinquish that, that's where you go to dive in deeper into that. Chapter 16 is all about the forgiveness of illusions, because we're all really swept up in these illusions that we have, and they prevent us from doing the work that we really came to do here. So there on 347, it starts a section called The End of Illusions, understanding how it is that we're maintaining illusions, and that the real world, as the Course calls it, which is what we are spiritually designed for, comes from letting those things go. Not being upset that there was illusions, delusions, all sorts of crazy, sort of preoccupying thoughts. Finding no fault with that at all, but realizing that it was there, and that what we really want is just peace. And peace comes through understanding what true reality is. All of our lack of peace comes from trying to maintain illusions, and every single person you've ever met has inevitably maintained a lot of illusions to their own detriment. Usually it's really, and to our own detriment. This is where you come down to those oneness principles where there's no separation. You and I did the same thing, and so from that space of awareness, we can truly honor and appreciate what's going on in each other and release it together, even. And just say, I want for only truth. So I'm willing to let go of all the things that I thought would make me happy in life. And we all do this to ourselves in the same exact ways. It's really bizarre how this works, but our minds are designed in a divine way so that we will see each other and understand the mirroring, understand the reflection, understand the projection by virtue of each other. And so this is why it becomes so incredibly important to understand that it's an inside job. We go inside to practice atonement, to go into the place of atonement, where we come to perfect peace and perfect awareness, perfect understanding, the way that we're meant to be. And then when that has occurred inside, which is our most important thing that we can do as children of God on this planet, that's where it all begins, is from going to that place within, accepting the atonement. As soon as you do that, once you have it, you turn around and everything around you can metamorphosize. You really have an alchemical ability to transmute and change the baser metals, as a metaphor, into gold. What was out here in the mundane starts to transform into what is miraculous, what we're meant to be here for. And your spirit comes alive because you're not trying to maintain the illusions. You're just anchoring in truth. I thank you again for joining me here for Lesson 8 from the Course in Miracles. If you found that interesting, like, share, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate your time and your interest in A Course in Miracles. And join us next time for more info and interaction as we all come together to uplift, enlighten, and ascend. Bye now.